you have trouble losing weight, the scale's not moving, you've been eating at a caloric deficit, and you're still not seeing any results. Awesome, because today's video, I'm answering all of those questions and helping you get over that hump, because I know how exhausting that is. I'm Avi, founder of Eat Stress Away, and Avi. I'm a certified raw food educator and holistic health coach, helping the professional and entrepreneurial, open-minded and empathic woman get rid of their stress, drop those pounds, and gain their energy back through nutrition and lifestyle changes without sacrificing their food favorites or authenticity. So let's get started. But first, for those of you who want more videos like this one, definitely hit subscribe and like this video. So the scale is not changing. The number on the scale is not changing. You've been dieting. You've been doing your caloric deficit like everyone says to do, and maybe you've even hit a plateau. So let's first talk about calorie counting and dieting. So dieting, for one, never works. And here's why. It's not a measurement of your health. And what happens is, I personally used to diet. I used to diet all the time, whether that was counting my calories, tracking my calories, getting maybe one fish fillet from McDonald's versus two, and it doesn't help. And I know how frustrating that can be when you're trying to lose weight and nothing's changing. You're like, I just want to not be 160 anymore. I just want to not be 200 anymore. If only I could get to 199. Drop a comment below if you could relate to that, because that's been me many times, many times. So what happens with dieting is it's not sustainable. Yes, you might lose like 5 pounds, but then the next week you might gain 15. Dieting contributes to what I call yo-yo dieting. For those of you who don't know what yo-yo dieting is, that's when maybe you eat good for 4 weeks, and then maybe after that 4 weeks, it doesn't necessarily have to be 4 weeks. It could be even a week of you just eating that good old asparagus, that rice, and that animal protein that people push, the portion sizing, right? And then next week you're eating a box of fig bars and a box of Lara bars and a box of whatever, box of cupcakes. Why? Because you've now deprived yourself. And this is why I don't teach deprivation at all. I believe in nutrient density, nutritional efficacy, and just supporting overall health with those vitamins and minerals that the body needs. You can still eat cupcakes. You can still eat donuts. You can make a burrito. You can have chili soup. You can have pizza. You can have all of those things as long as you make it with plant-based, nutrient-rich foods. So dieting never works because it's not sustainable. You will gain the weight back, and what it does to your metabolism is not good at all. And yo-yo dieting leads to abdominal fat, also called visceral fat, which also leads to metabolic diseases, which you don't want. So that is why dieting does not work. Drop a comment below if you have dieted for a very long time, or not even a very long time, if you're currently dieting, and tell me how that works for you. I want to know. So the second thing is hitting that plateau. Maybe you've been eating healthy for a very long time, or you think you've been eating healthy. You've been portion sizing your meals. You've been tracking your calories in MyFitnessPal. You've been checking in with your coach, and you're just like, I cannot lose the weight. I just can't. And that could be because now you're doing weight management. Maybe your weight has stalled because maybe the body, one of the reasons can be maybe the body's not flushing out the food you're actually giving it. Maybe you're having some sort of intolerance to a certain food. You might need to tweak your meal spacing, your meal time, and what you're combining your meals with. Are you combining it with soda? Are you drinking with your meals? There's different factors that come into play when you hit a plateau. So that can help overcome the plateau. I highly recommend tracking your meals, and if you need a food tracker, It's all in the description box below. I have a journal. I recommend journaling, not tracking. Okay? So the third thing, third thing is the caloric deficit. So many people, including myself, I actually made sure I was faithfully eating 1,200 calories. I was doing some fitness and nutrition challenge, and I made sure I was eating 1,200 calories. And what happened was I only lost a measly 7 pounds in 30 days. Now, when my clients work with me, they end up losing at least 3 pounds the first week. Okay, this was before I was health coaching. I lost a measly 7 pounds in 30 days. Why? Because I was depriving myself. I was tracking things like celery and carrots, and I was like, oh, I went over my macros. And that's the thing, a lot of people are macro tracking and they're forgetting about the micronutrient density of foods. And this is why so many people are actually starving themselves versus being satiated. And when I say satiated, I mean in that balance. You don't want to eat more and you don't want to eat less. You are satisfied. And this is why so many people feel hungry as fuck, because they are literally starving themselves. They're focusing on macronutrients. You could get your macronutrients from foods at McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts. That's why I don't agree with if it fits your macros, because it's not a measure of health. You're breaking your body down with those ingredients, okay? With animal protein and with fish, and those raise your cholesterol levels. You get lipid disorders, blood disorders, metabolic diseases, cardiovascular disease. It raises your risk of IGF-1. You get all of this stuff that comes with that, as well as, processed foods. They contribute to disease and a breakdown in the immune system. So while people might think a caloric deficit works, and for those of you who don't know what a caloric deficit, that's when you eat less than you burn. So for instance, if you went to the gym and you burned 1,000 calories, you're going to eat 500 or something like that. That's a little bit of calories, but so is 1,200. So now what I do is I don't count calories anymore. I just eat until I'm satiated, and I look at the nutrient density of plant-based foods, which has your macro and your micronutrients. A lot of animal protein and fish. I'm a vegan, and I'm a plant-based vegan for health purposes. I actually reversed endometriosis being a plant-based vegan, so I'm an advocate for being plant-based and vegan because I've seen how it worked in my own health and reversed illness. So it has the macronutrients you need, it has the micronutrients, and like I said, animal flesh and fish has heterocyclic amines. They're carcinogenic compounds, as I always say. They cause cancer, they raise your cholesterol levels. I don't care if it's lean animal flesh, it doesn't matter, it's all the same. And a lot of people will argue, well, I lost weight on keto. It's like, yeah, but over time, you don't really know where your blood levels are at. You might be healthy today, but you won't be healthy. And it does not reverse the aging process. And that's what I love about plant-based foods, is it reverses the aging process. And see, you don't raise your risk for osteoporosis or inflammatory diseases. And that's what happens with a lot of this animal flesh and this animal protein. And I'm not picking on you guys who eat animal flesh, but even with oils and dairy, that's where these inflammatory diseases come from. That's why people have joint problems, because of inflammation and all of this stuff that happens. This is why there's no neural protection, because you're not getting the proper omega-3s and omega-6s from raw nuts and seeds that actually are calorically dense and nutrient dense at the same time. There's a difference between calorically dense and fiber rich and calorically dense with empty calories, i.e. cashews and dates. Calorically dense, fiber rich. The body recognizes those nutrients. Bag of chips. You have the bag of chips and you have it oil filled and oil rich. Those are empty calories, okay? So the body is not going to process and break it down. You will break the body down What I love about nutrient-dense foods is that they have no calories, so the body is able to lose the weight. That's how you lose weight, because there's no calories in nutrients, but you also get your macronutrients in those. So drop a comment below if you liked this video, if you're currently experiencing a plateau or counting calories and you fucking hate it, or you're doing caloric deficit and you're like, I fucking hate this too. Drop a comment below, and make sure you join my free webinar happening May 29th at 3:30 p.m. We're talking everything from stress to weight loss to food addiction to creating the life with intent, getting rid of those self-sabotage and self-loathing behaviors, and keeping the weight off with a stress-free life. Make sure you join me there, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are.